So this is big, I think. I took my first ever cruise.
Andy and Pete, this time it's gonna be better than before. Although it'll pretty much be the same as before, with a few different things and stuff and that. And other things too, I think it's gonna be okay. Well, there's no guarantee, obviously. No guarantee, obviously. No guarantee. Season 2 of our podcast. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, maybe.
Welcome back. It's Eddy and Pete, Cruise Ship Diaries. Season 2. This time, it's personal. I added that last bit.
So this is not a cruise where I was working. This is not a cruise where I was signed on as a guest. This is not a cruise where I was doing destination speaking, cruise directing, art auctioneering, DJing. This wasn't anything other than me handing over my cold, hard cash and going on,
Wow.
no one knowing who I was, and experiencing it for the very first time after almost 20 years of cruise ships. For the first time, literally walking on board as a paying guest.
Why were you going on a cruise? What was the point?
We have a business in South Florida and we deal with a lot of cruise ships around the world. And as a little bonus for ourselves, what we decided to do, Jane decided to treat us and take us on a cruise, like just a short little 3-day cruise.
How lovely.
And we wanted to go on a cruise line where no one would know us, so we could really have the full experience. So we didn't go on a cruise line that I'd ever worked on. So we went on MSC, which is one of the cruise lines I've never... Now, I did do a cruise on MSC as on the inaugural of the World America, but we had guest entertainers that were working on board. And so I was still working. I still walked around in a suit and I was still sort of saying hello to people and that sort of thing. So that was close, but I still considered it working on that cruise. And I got the invitation because of my job. This one, we literally went on the website and we booked it, booked a drinks package, booked internet, paid for everything. No one knew we were going, and went just off and sailed out of Miami for 3 days.
Nice. So did you recognize anybody, or did anybody recognize you, first of all?
No one knew who we were. And obviously, having been in one cruise line for 10 years, there was the people that are on this particular cruise, there was not a lot of crossover with the cruise line where I spent 10 years. It was a different demographic. It was a different audience, different crowd. It was over the holidays. It was Easter holidays. And so it was very busy with people. It was packed ship. I don't know how many people were on board. I'm guessing about 5,000. There must have been close to 1,000 kids on board because it was the holidays. And so it was very busy. And it was just 3 days. And I was wearing casual clothes. So nobody recognized me. Nobody recognized Jane. And we had a great time. We had a really, really fun time.
Great. So what did you do? Tell us, when you able to switch off, or were you looking at it in a critical business head as well, sort of thinking, that was a good idea, or I didn't like the way they did that?
No, to be honest, no. I found it quite easy to switch off. Luckily, I've got one of those brains that I didn't really have to worry about. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about, if there were service failures or if that somebody was particularly good, I think I knew that I would be spotting that in the back of my head. But I didn't have to do anything with that because I knew at the end of the cruise, maybe I'd get a survey, a questionnaire to ask me how it had gone. But in general, I didn't have to worry about, over the top brilliant crew members, or if I'd met any that were the other way. I was like, not my circus, not my monkey. So we went on board. Everybody was, I think, surprised. I think Jane and Steve were quite surprised how excited I was by it. And I dressed up every night, because I don't get to wear a lot of the clothes that I wore as cruise director anymore. So I was like, I'm going to dress up every night. I got my legs out. I put shorts on, which surprised a lot of people in the local media. Yeah,
Yep.
I think it did upset people, did ruin the cruise for some people, but also I was insistent that we get there as soon as the ship were opened up for business. Like, I was the one knocking on the door going, "Are you open yet? Can we come on yet? Are you open? Can we come in yet? Can we have a drink yet? What's happening? Can we come in?
All right,
What's our
your first
dining
day,
seating package?"
especially on a short cruise, right, you need to get in there straight away to get the most out of it. Absolutely. That's one of the
Yes,
days, and you're the later you arrive.
Yes, exactly. We left at 10 o'clock in the morning. We were down in the terminal by about, I would say, about 11:15, parked up. And we were on board by 11:30. It was so quick. It was we checked in online beforehand. It was a very efficient system. We got onto the ship, and I think we had a drink in hand within about 10 minutes. So it was great. It was brilliant. And I was on the drink package, and there's a limit of 15 a day. And I said to myself, challenge accepted, responsibly.
Did you do the morning trivia? Because morning trivia on a
No,
cruise
in fact,
ship.
I didn't. I probably should have, but I think it was such a short cruise. Maybe I didn't really think about that sort of thing. Went to the show on the first night because it was Queen
Yeah.
songs. Which
Okay.
was great fun. I love Queen, so it was great to see the singers and dancers. The cruise director was really good. Obviously, I noticed her, and she was really, really good. I think her name was Ali. Her name was. Obviously, there's only 3 days, so it's difficult to get to know too many crew members. But I didn't go annoy her. I didn't go up to her and say, "Excuse me, just to let you know, I actually used to be a cruise director, so I think I should tell you that and give you some of my 5 top tips on how to be a brilliant cruise director." I didn't do that, no. But
bet
she
it
was
was
really
hard
good.
not
She was fantastic. The team was good. There was live music on board, but I did no specific activity. So I didn't do any trivia. I didn't do any pickleball. I'm not sure. I honestly don't even think I looked at the daily program. I just knew that there was a show on, there was a comedian on, there was a show. And the first day we got on board, it was all about having a look around the ship because I wasn't familiar with that cruise ship. It was the MSC Seaside, brilliant ship, big ship. Getting some food. The food was good. I really enjoyed the food on board. That was really good too. Cabin was really nice. Had a nice balcony cabin. And my friend that I went with, she's more of a sun worshipper than me, and so she wanted a nice balcony. And then the first day was just like kind of roaming the ship, getting a little bit of sunshine, just chilling out and just relaxing. I didn't really do much work or anything like that, so that was good. I didn't take my laptop with me, but I did have my phone because sometimes you need to. The job that I do, have to work on the phone.
Controversial question. Sunbathing, something that I always read about different cruise lines. Do they remove the towels if there's no one using the sunbed? What's your thoughts?
You should have asked me this before I went on the cruise. I don't think they did remove them, no.
It's a really strange thing because I know there's a rule that says if you leave your sunbed for more than 30 minutes on most cruise lines, we'll remove your towels and your belongings and put it to one side so that other people can use it. But obviously nobody ever does because we don't want to create a problem. It's a no-win situation really, isn't it? You know, you're going to get a complaint from somebody, but you just hope that people have the right etiquette when they're doing these things. Because often there is not enough sunbeds for everybody on the ship.
Yes. I mean, because I'm a bit sunophobic, because I don't like the sunshine, it wasn't a problem for me. So I wasn't one of the people fighting for a sunbed. I found a nice spot to have a little beverage. I tried many of the cocktails. I had your pina coladas, I had your strawberry daiquiris, I had your Miami Vices, I had your Bahama Mamas. Basically, I was just trying to try the entire cocktail menu, but also drinking responsibly. I should. Not this time, but you never know next time. And it was just really good. The first night also we went to the Benihana teppanyaki type restaurant where they do the cooking and they throw the prawns around and they
wow, yeah.
So we did that because Jane's son is of an age where like that sort of thing was super, super fun. I think, to be fair, I think I enjoyed it more than he did because I loved they do this spinning of the utensils and throwing the prawns around. They had sushi and they had miso soup and then they did a load of cooking and oh my goodness, there was like Wagyu beef, there was lobster, there was scallops. It was delish.
Did you go to the gym?
A couple of nice glasses of wine. I did go to the gym, yes.
Nice.
Very well-equipped gym. And to be fair, I think in times past, I was one of those people who would go, why would you go on a cruise and go to the gym? Like, have a break.
Right.
I know what people say about cruise ships and food and things like that, but like, seriously, have a break, relax. But no, I did go to the gym.
No, I think you have to, don't you, to balance out all that food you were just talking about and the drink. Sounds amazing. But I sort of think to myself, you've got to try and balance that out, right?
Yes. So there was balance, a little bit of balance there. I did go to the gym, and then the next day was a sea day. There was no port day on the second day. It was a sea day. And I don't know. I think, I went to the gym in the morning, had a little wander around the ship, had some beverage. Don't really remember what I did in the afternoon. Probably just more beverages, I think. But yeah, had a little look around the shops on board. I don't think they had art auctions on board that ship. So I didn't go and see that. And then in the evening, a lovely dinner. We went to the casino a bit because obviously when you're working on board a ship, you can't go to the casino.
Mm-hmm.
Played a bit of pontoon, as I would call it. I think in the industry they call it blackjack. I think I won about $70 and then gave it all back the next day. But my friend, she played roulette and she won, I think, a couple of $100 actually.
Nice.
And then there was a deck party. So we went up and had a little look at that as well with all the people dancing.
Weather
and
was
then
good?
they had air hockey. It was great. It was honestly, they had a bowling alley on board the ship as well.
Oh.
So we went and watched. I didn't play bowling. I'm rubbish, terrible at bowling. But we went and watched other people do bowling. And there was all sorts of things. And then the final day was the day when we went to the private island. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
Coco Key or Paradise Key or something Key, Kiki D, Tim Key.
Like
and
each company
anyway,
has
we
their
went to
own
the
private area, doesn't it? Yeah.
So a lot of the cruise lines now have an island that they can go to where everything is set up, and it's pretty much they control the atmosphere. Some it's got rides and slides and walls and all sorts of things. Some of them are a bit more low key. Some of them are a bit more well equipped, and they're all doing it now. And I had no feelings about it before. Now I get it because it's a controlled environment. They can control the food and the drink, and they can set everything up, and it's safe. And this was absolutely brilliant. I have to say, there was kind of like 2 lagoons, I think there were.
Nice.
We actually rented a cabana because I'm so terrible with the sunshine. And I think as well for Jane's son, so that he could spend time in the sunshine, but then also get a bit of shade. So we paid for a sort of a cabana, which I probably wouldn't have done, but I'm really glad Jane did it because it was really nice for me to be able to just sort of sit in the shade all day and then get some beverages and have some snackettes. And it was really good. It's really comfy. And then it was about 150 yards from the water. And then, they could all play in the water and do fun stuff. And my friend recreated the Baywatch scene of running into the water. So she had fun doing that. And it was a really, really nice day. I think we got there early in the morning, maybe 9:30. And I think we were still there at 6:00 in the evening.
Nice. You had a good time, good days. And what else? What other entertainment was there? You said there was a production show on the first night.
There was a production show first night and the third night. There was the deck party. There was live music around the ship as well. They had a band. We also went, I'm not a massive fan of karaoke, but Jane's husband, Steve, does a bit of karaoke. So we went and saw some karaoke for a couple of nights as well. Karaoke was as karaoke is, which was some people were amazing. And you were like, you should be on stage. And some people, you were like, you should not be allowed to touch a microphone. So it was good fun. I didn't sing a song, and I think a lot of people were hoping that I was going to do a couple of numbers, but no, I was like, no, this is.
And did Steve sing, or does he just like watching?
Steve loves karaoke, but for some reason he did not take part. I don't know why he didn't do a song.
Weird.
He does a really mean version of Everlasting Love, but he absolutely loves karaoke. There's a place that does karaoke about 20 minutes south of here, and I'm pretty sure he would go every night given the chance, but we go once every few months to do a little bit of karaoke. Yeah, the karaoke was great. That's where you saw the activity hosts doing their thing. Yeah, they had the live band after that. They're dancing in the sort of grand foyer area. I'm not sure if it's called the grand foyer, but whatever that sort of thing was. They had a big thing for the kids for Easter where the Easter bunny came out, and MSC do a lot with chocolate as well. So Easter was kind of their perfect thing with Easter and chocolate and the kids and that sort of thing.
Okay,
well.
Very nice. I've never done a cruise as a guest. I know a lot of cruise directors and a lot of people who work on ships always talk about it. Should we go away and do it? Just to experience that whole thing. But I don't know. Sometimes when you're working continuously on a ship, the last thing you want to do is then go away and experience it. You want to, I sort of want to get away and do something completely different. However, I did have some friends come on. I'm talking.
Yeah.
I had some friends come on a couple of years ago, and they were people that I had used to be in a band with, and we used to hang out, and they're very funny people. So I was looking forward to that. And every time I see them, I relive their cruise. They tell me all about what they enjoyed, if you know what I mean. And they were saying, one of the things is even when they got off in a great port, they couldn't wait to get back on the ship again because they really enjoyed just being on the ship. It was still a novelty for them. I think once you've been on the ship many times, you look for new ports to go out and explore. But they were sort of saying it like, being off the ship was great in the ports, but actually we just couldn't wait to get back on again and experience all the things you already have lined up for you. I mean, these are people who have got great stories. One of them was Tom Jones's manager, and we used to have so many different things would happen. While talking about this, the last time I saw them, we were reminiscing about a few of the stories, such as having a firework night at the house, and somebody had brought round a big rocket, but they had a patio, so you couldn't bury the bottle or the chute in a thing. So they just stood it up on the patio and lit it. And we all ran in the house with the patio doors. And then the bottle fell down, pointing to the house where we all were. And this rocket exploded in the house. We're all jumping around sofas and stuff like that. And I also remember a Halloween party where we all went and absolutely dressed up. I went as a zombie. I know you're going to just don't jump in here. I'd used some liquid lycra and stuff and built my face up and painted it all and had a nail coming out of my head and this real blood coming out. I had to drive there, and I was thinking, I hope I don't have a crash on the way there because I'm going to get out of the car. People are going to think it's been a disaster. But I remember getting to the house and there was all these everyone had dressed up. Nobody wasn't dressed. One person was dressed in one of those masks that, I'm trying to think, not a scream mask, but it basically had nothing a simple mask like they probably wore on Eyes Wide Shut. Have you seen that movie?
Mm-hmm.
So like just a scary,
like
just no
Venetian
expression
mask?
at all. Yeah, maybe, just nothing at all. And he never spoke for the whole night. He just came up and sort of looked, and then would go back, and that freaked everybody out. And nobody was sure who it was. But kids came round to do trick-or-treating. We had eerie music on, smoke and lights, because in the music industry, they had all the gear. And every time someone knocked on the door, we would all appear from the back door, would go round and come into the garden. And and just be standing there in a sort of semicircle behind them, waiting for them to turn around. It must have been so freaky for people. But very funny. But anyway, the story was when they were on the ship, I remember saying to them, we were going to meet up one day, and I said, you go to the pool deck and don't worry, I'll find you. Now, I always remember thinking of these people as these were very young, energetic people, like myself. And so on a ship where you find other people maybe a bit older, these people stand out like a sore thumb. But when I went up to look for them, I realized that they looked the same as everybody else did, as we'd all aged in our time on board, which I was telling them about recently. You were going to jump in and say something a few moments ago.
I think one is, now that I've been off the ships a while, I have an element of separation from it. But I think when I was on board, people would always ask me, would you cruise in your spare time? And I said, yes, it would depend on the itinerary. Whereas this time, no, it was literally just to get away for a little bit, because in South Florida, you've got Tampa, you've got Port Canaveral, you've got Miami, you've got Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. So there are so many ships going out of this area. It would be a bit of a waste, really, not to take the chance to get a good deal and go out on a cruise ship and just get away for a little bit. Because even though I live next to the beach, I don't go to the beach. I've been to the beach twice. I've lived here now 18 months. I have been to the beach twice, which is just terrible. I love looking at the beach and I love being in the sunshine, as in looking at the sunshine, but I don't actually spend time on the beach. So this was a brilliant excuse to sort of get away, turn the phone off for a little bit, not do any work, and just relax a little bit. And it was really, really good. And I know the question you're going to ask, and I'll answer it. Would I do it again? Absolutely. I would be interested in doing it again. Not any specific cruise line, not specific any itinerary, but I think that nice to be away, to have people bring you beverages, have some nice food that you don't have to cook, go away, see something a little bit different. Of course, I've been to most of the ports many, many times in the Caribbean. And I would probably, if I went on a cruise that went to Caribbean ports, I'd probably end up going back to the same restaurant that I always went back to as a crew member, depending on who I'm with and what we're doing. But yes, if there was an interesting itinerary, that would be an added incentive. But I think I would do it. And it did surprise me a little bit, but I just had a really good time. I suppose if I'd had a terrible time, it would be different. But I had a really good time, really enjoyed it, was completely able to switch off, wasn't wondering, oh, I wonder what's behind that door or I wonder why they're doing that. I didn't really have to think about that too much. So I had a fantastic time. I have to say, 5 stars, would recommend.
It might get better, but there's no promises. It might get better, but it will probably be pretty similar to before. It might get better, but there's no promises. It might get better, but you should probably just lower your expectations. And that's on you.
At the end of last year, I was on a ship, and one of my favorite magicians who came on. And now sometimes you get to see people and you haven't seen them for many months or even years. And for some reason, you're all still working for the same company, but your rota and your schedule just doesn't mean that you come across each other again.
Roster doesn't align. Yes.
That's right. Yeah, he's a magician, a guest entertainer called Ryan Joyce. His name is Ryan Joyce.
Mm-hmm.
And in the time that I had last seen him, which was probably about 3 or 4 years earlier, he now had a dog come with him on the ship. A guest entertainer and he said it took about a year. You had to put the paperwork in. He'd always decided to do this. Great to travel with, be part of the show. It's a dog that is very good in being on stage and comfortable with that. The kind of dog that can walk on its back legs, and just a lovely, lovely dog. And he made it part of the show, his magic show, which is quite good, very popular on the ship all the time anyway. But when he's on his show, the dog isn't always out on stage. So you have to have somebody backstage to look after the dog. The dog's name, by the way, to where it all came from, was called Whiskey. And when I see a magician, especially a good old friend like Ryan, I'm always saying, let's go and have a drink and a chat. And we took a little while to get round to it. But when we did, because magicians can just sit and talk to each other for ages. The same as comedians. I like to talk to, lots of interesting different people if I can find time for it. But going for a whiskey with Whiskey and Ryan was a highlight, I thought. Very nice way of celebrating. And he said he did call Whiskey the dog after his love of whiskey as well. So it was really cool.
The crew must have absolutely loved having a dog on board. Crew love having animals on board like that.
Yeah, and it does really stand out, doesn't it? It makes everybody just feel a little bit, if you've got pets at home, then you probably sort of love that idea. But just sitting there was always one cast member who was involved in the show and one cast member who was backstage just looking after the dog, which was lovely. Because the dog knew. Funny enough, the dog was trained, it knew the music to the show. So it knew when its moment was coming up and when it would be called out to come onto the stage. And so if you could feel the mood change backstage there. And so your only job is to make sure the dog didn't come out too early. And occasionally, sometimes, especially in the first few times, the dog would get very excited, but then not go out.
Stage fright.
I guess so.
So you don't have any pets though, do you? I mean, what is your pet like home where you are, like a bottle of Johnny Blue, Walker Blue? Is that a Blue Label? Is that would be your pet?
Yes,
that you keep with you at all times.
That's right. I do have a pet now. I got him a couple of years. A cat. A sort of rescue cat. And we were talking about it. And I remember telling you, I never had any pets growing up. And I always fancied a dog. And did I tell you that before I joined ships, I was a dog trainer?
No.
I just started, I watched Caesar Milan on TV, and I decided to start a little business for myself with everything. So I did everything from dog walking, house sitting, and dog training.
So hang on a minute, you didn't have a dog, you just taught yourself with YouTube
TV.
videos? You watched TV?
Yeah, I watched TV and went out and did it. And it was really, really good. When those programs, whatever Caesar Milan tells you, works absolutely brilliantly. Nerve-wracking to start with, because we took dogs, for instance, that someone said they are very aggressive dogs. Can you stop this dog being aggressive to other dogs? And everything that we did worked. I never had a dog myself. And now that I work, it's after that, of course, I've been working at sea for a long time, and you can't really get a dog. Although some ships, some captains do have pets, don't they? Some ships actually. So I went across to Icon of the Seas recently, which is a Royal Caribbean ship, and they have a dog, Labrador, I think, or a retriever. I can't remember which one it is, but it's just on the bridge, just lives on the bridge. Actually has a dog handler there. That's pretty cool. And some captains, there was Captain Kate, used to have her cat.
Yes.
With her on the ships, used to take a cat. Don't know how that works out, but quite difficult, I'd imagine.
I think
Going
she
from country
also
to
was.
country.
She was inspired by a captain, I think, that had a dog, and that was before the one on Royal. I forget which. It might have been another Royal ship as well, where the captain had a dog, if I remember correctly. But I think she was inspired because another captain had done it prior to her, so that's why she got the cat. And it was a hairless cat, because I think that also made things a little bit easier, that people couldn't say, "Oh, the hair's going to get in the equipment," because it didn't have any hair.
And of course, some people were allergic to cats, right?
Yes,
That'd be
there you
weird.
go. So that was probably part of it. Yeah, saying people, you couldn't say you're allergic to cats because if it's got no hair, I assume that takes out the allergy element of it and things like that.
I know that
I'm
some
assuming
pets
so.
have a different style. Yeah, but you wouldn't know.
Don't
Are
know.
you allergic?
Exactly. I'm allergic to everything. Yeah, cats, dogs, rabbits, anything, hair, grass, pollen. Also, I'm allergic to all sorts of things, but it only comes out as asthma. So I just have a little puff of the little puffy thing, and that's the medical term for it. And it goes away. So yeah, so if somebody's got dogs or cats, it doesn't really bother me, because I'd rather the love and warmth and affection of a little furry puppy animal or cat or whatever, rather than just being starved of affection, as has happened so many times in my life,
I can't believe it's still going. I really didn't think it would. Season 2 is ready now. I think you really should go and listen and even watch, 'cause it's also on YouTube. But nothing rhymes with watch unless I'm looking at my watch and it's time. Eddy and Pete, cruise ship stories and other unrelated stories too. It's a podcast. It's like a TV or radio show, and it's free. So what are we waiting for? Check out the podcast.
We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Don't forget the like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thanks. Should be another one around here somewhere. See ya.
Eddy and Pete accept no responsibility for the words that come out of their mouths. They were never here. Carry on.